Hello and welcome back to the Edain mod for Battlefield 2, The Rise of the Witch King, and we are now looking at Isengard. And as you can see, we already have our elite Urukai fully armoured and ready to kill the men of Rohan, hide within their wooden walls, making many peasants, as you're very well aware they're capable of. And they don't even stand a chance against even our low tier defences. I say low tier, but everything of Isengard is heavily armoured to the teeth. So, looking at our core units. So the starting unit we get are the Urukai, or the Isengard Scouts. And they're quite unique in their ability that they are the only starting unit that can switch between sword and bow. Granted, they need to be level 2 to do this, but they also have another power, the arrows. Scouts fire a barrage of arrows that slow down hit enemies by 40% for 20 seconds. Close duration enemy units and monsters have minus 50% armor. Enemy heroes have minus 20% armor. So yeah, that's a really powerful attack. It's very similar to the barbed shot of the Haradrim archers from the original BFME2. But revamped, making them a lot stronger and fit the nation a bit more. Because these scouts were made to hunt down Fellowship and lock them in place so that stronger characters like Lurtz will be able to take them out. So, looking at our roster of buildings, you may notice there's a theme. We are a faction of industry. You can see from all the wheels turning, just everything around it. Obviously, it's not high tech like the dwarves or beautiful like the elves, but nonetheless, it is industry, and it is the strongest industry in the game. Never underestimate Isengard. They can go from a small army to a massively overpowered, fully armored level 5 units. And we'll talk about how we got these Urukai level 5 so easily. One of the ways would be Saruman's power of speech, but we'll look into what else we can do. So obviously, the first building we look at is Uruk Pits. We can get our scouts from there. And unfortunately, I can't show it off because I've already upgraded all my things to level 5 or to level 3. But as I mentioned in the past, whenever you play as Isengard, all of your building upgrades, well, your military building upgrades, so your Uruk Pits, your Wild Pits, Siege Works, all upgrade equal to the amount of... Once you upgrade it once in any of the 3 buildings, anywhere, no matter how many you've got of them, will always upgrade to the second level once you've upgraded it first, and then it upgrades again once you upgrade it again. So the first time it costs 1,000, next turn is over 1,500, showing that the raw industry of Isengard is growing. If I was to just destroy this Uruk Pit, like, oh no, my Uruk Pit got destroyed.
We've expanded the Uruk
It comes back level 3, as you can already see there. So, what's the benefit of getting these upgrades early on instead of just waiting? Because if you don't get them give me a second. If you don't get them early on, you're losing on your upgrades to your Wild Riders. They're limited to only your scouts from the Uruk Pit, and you can't make your your better siege equipment. You're limited to only your battering rams and your ladders. You might not even guarantee the ladders are going to be good. Oh, I moved them by mistake. No, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay put. Deal with these hearing that side on me a bit. Even we've got Onagas to deal with again. Where are they? So if they're inside the fortress, I'm going to kill them. No, they're just there. Use that. I'll explain what that does later. So, looking at everything. So again, once you reach tier 2, you can get your Urukai crossbow, and Urukai pikemen. Originally, you can only get them. You can get them at tier 1 at any time, and the berserkers was at tier 2. Now they are limited to your tier 2 because you've got the scouts. They're faster and more, and their strength depend on the situation because they can switch between sword and bow. Again, the only starting unit that can switch between sword and bow.
Ready. There, I think I smell the enemy.
They are also very dependable because of this. However, they don't get Forge Blades, Heavy Armor, and Banner Carriers like the rest. They have two separate upgrades that they can only get through the two Urukai Scout leaders, Lurtz and Ugluk. Once you have Lurtz, you can get... I can find the scout unit. Once Lurtz is on the field, you can create get the Hunt leader, and this gives them fear resistance and gets them to level 2. So that's their Banner Carrier. And the shields, when in melee, makes them stronger against archers and just makes them stronger melee fighters. In fact, I can show off what those upgrades do by making another unit of scouts.
The Dark Lord shall reign.
Don't underestimate peasants sometimes. I mean, jeez. Even fully upgraded wild riders can't deal with these farmhand pikemen. Rohan farmhands. They're just really good. It might just be the wild riders are really bad, but who knows. So then, the Hunt leader grants them level 2, also grants a permanent weapon switch between sword and bow, and the hunting arrows ability now lowers enemy troops' armor by additional 50%. So yeah, the hunting arrows now decrease armor. Oh wait, that. Oh okay. The hunting arrow at base doesn't decrease the armor, but once you've got the hunt leader, then it does. The shields, equip the scouts with shields, giving them plus 50% damage resistance against all elemental attacks as well as ranged attacks. Additionally, the attacks of the scouts reduce the damage. The attacks of the scouts reduce the damage of enemy units by 50% 3 seconds, and the enemy hero. So, yeah, the scouts are actually a lot stronger than they're given credit for. In fact, no, I think because of that alone, they are the strongest starting units in the game. The largest warriors come close. Because of the versatility of the scouts, they just rack it up in first place. Just because of their uniqueness. However, again, they are you do require Lurtz and Ugluk to be on the field for these upgrades to be available. Without them, it's impossible. I'm gonna get one of these. So that's the scouts. Next, I think what will become the fourth scouts are the Wildmen of Dunland. There are 2 different versions, but we have 3 different versions here. I'll get into why I have 3. And I can find them. There they are. The Rudour, the Dunlanding Spear. Oh, don't you dare! Don't you dare get this away from me when I'm trying to explain things. How dare you? How very dare you?
My rage is all-consuming.
There we go. So we have the ordinary Wildmen of Dunland, which we all know. They can pillage, so when they attack, they steal resources from structures. They can get torches, which deal increased damage to structures and units. Same with the axe throwers. They can get torches as well, except they are ranged units. And then there are Dunlanding Spearmen, which we get from our Dunlanding hero Wolfgar. So that's his tier level 5 power, and they are exactly the same. They can pillage, but they cannot get torches, but they will not refuse to lose their spears.
We're waiting. This way.
Again, I need to stop these peasants somehow. Just keep coming back with more. I don't know how. Actually, I do know how. Just sitting there doing nothing. The next are our 3 the 3 units that I'm happy to call our bread and butter units. So first we have the Urukai warriors, or the swordsmen. Ignore this ability, we'll come into later. As you can see, they can get forged blades, heavy armor, and banner carriers, like any other. The crossbowmen, they get, instead of fire arrows, they now have steel bolts, and the pikemen also get the forged blades. We'll also notice there's another unit in here, the shield uruks, and that's a new unit to Edain, and I must admit it is a very fun unit at that. It's a unit that you can equip to any of your other basic Urukai units, but it has, so pikemen, the warriors, and the crossbowmen, you can equip those shield bearers to, and they act as a forward shield wall against ranged attacks, and they slow down cavalry even more. So yes, against with pikemen it may seem superficial, but don't think so. They are really good. The shield bearers are your... Oh, they are
We go to war.
a fully elite Isengard army is stronger than any other army in the game.
Ready to run, boys? Right!
Obviously, Isengard's weakness is in their heroes, is that they're not as powerful as others. But at the same time, they have like Saruman to supplement them with enough strength. And next on the list are the Wild Riders. There's no elite Wild Riders exactly the same as the ordinary Wild Riders. Their howl, though, is a lot better. For 30 seconds, they have increased damage and move faster. So just have it like that nice glow. Used to be a purple glow. I missed the purple glow.
The wargs are hungry.
Yep, they can move very quickly. And then our last basic unit, which we also all know and love, the Insane Delinquents, Urukai Berserkers. And you can actually purchase Forge Blades for them. And they've got a special ability, Butcher. The Berserker deals high damage against enemies without heavy armor, but with Forge Blades, they in fact do more damage against enemies with heavy armor. So, against large nations like the Fountain Guards of Gondor, the Elite and Largest Guards, these Berserkers will just shrek them. They don't stand a chance. Unless you can quickly pinpoint them down, kill them off, these Berserkers will leave no one alive. And unlike the Bjornings, you don't even need to purchase Forge Blades to them, and they're already effective. So enemies without heavy armor. So Rohan, Mordor, most of the early tier of Angmar. But yeah, it is normally better to just give them Forge Blades. But obviously, Rohan is the one exception to this. Their natural enemy is the one exception. Oh. Well, it's good to see that Isengard still knows how to annoy me. Whereas Rohan doesn't know how to annoy me. Why? Why can't you just leave me alone so I can focus? Ugh.
The enemy is on us!
Right, that's all the basic units. Next we come to siege equipment, because there is a lot of option. You have 5 in total. It's the most siege equipment siege options you can have in the game.
Defend the camp!
The dwarves come close, but Isengard just does it better. So the first one, the battering ram. We all know it. We all know how effective it is. It's really big. It's really tough. Granted, not as big as Grond, but still very good. Next is the ladder. You can attach it to a wall, and it will do good. It'll do good things. You can attach berserkers on top of them. Other than that, they are just aesthetically pleasing units. Do not make them unless you just want to make that nice siege style vassal. Next is the ballista. Siege equipment that is made for only being unit of siege equipment, not a unit killer. Because although they do decent knockback, they don't have very bad AOE damage. All their damage goes into just one thing, and that's it. They are the weakest siege equipment for doing non-structure destroying things. Next, you have a rather unique unit, a berserker with some mines on, or just barrels on top of them, and he can explode himself by going in and killing himself.
Keep the fire away.
Similar to the mine, except these two orcs decide to run away before the mine explodes and the berserker kills them. But the mine, unlike this berserker, is a lot more deadly. For 2 reasons. One, it's a lot more unpredictable. You can very easily kill it off with fire arrows. Granted, some factions don't have fire arrows, but you can very easily stop the mine from exploding. But the mine does at least 10 times as much damage, or 5 times as much damage as the basic mine berserker. The mine berserkers are used mainly for unit destruction and just a way to prevent the recruited units from coming in to help their allies.
Don't you drop it.
it's a cheap alternative to the mine. Basically what it is. Because the mine is a lot slower, a lot harder to place. But if you can get it to work with a berserker, the results are beautiful.
Ready? They will fear
So that's
us.
all of our siege equipment options. That's all of our units. Wargs, the Uruks, the Wildmen that I can no longer show the outlines of. So now looking at buildings. For the first building you want to build almost all the time. Mine shaft. They decrease the cost of Urukai, and unlike the furnace, which is your second option, only reduces the cost of unit upgrades. Yes, this sounds good, but you'll notice another thing. It requires it to be at level 3. So, as much as it looks nice and all, it's not worth it. Don't build furnaces. The only reason I built it is to show how bad it is. Yeah, you can make them. Yeah, they're good. But comparing the decrease in cost to decrease in cost given by the mine shafts, it's just make the mine shafts. That's my honest opinion. If you're going full non-Uruk, you're going full Warg Riders and done landings, then go right ahead. Build the furnaces because you won't be making any Urukai. But you always want to be making more Urukai. There's no reason for you not to. So those are the two resource buildings. Then we've got the battle towers, but we also have a second defensive option. We've seen quite a bit right here at the Warg Sentry, and this creates 3 Wargs that will attack nearby enemies, and they have pretty good health. They're very similar to the Warg Pit, Warg Defenders. However, if the building that's holding the Wargs is destroyed, they will be destroyed with it. So protect them if you can. If you can't, consider not making them, just build the towers. But the towers you can upgrade to have steel bolts, only a mere 300. Same with these towers here, you can purchase steel bolts and they do massive damage, even against siege equipment. Next, obviously, you've got your Uruk Pit, Siege Works, your Warg Pit, and then you've got your Armory. And you have 5 different upgrades. Uruk Captains we'll talk about when we get to the end, because this is a very, very unique upgrade. Which, oh, it's beautiful when used properly. So next, coming to the fortress, you may think, okay, you can get your heroes from it. You can place off everything about it, like how your recruitment buildings can all upgrade at once with the machinery of war upgrades. The scouts are just become stronger throughout the game with their upgrades. But you can also improve the citadel. This is only its first form. You can give it the Murder of Crows, which is just like the Murder of Crows.
We shall rule these lands.
Actually, no, it's not. I just remembered. This Murder of Crows summons Crabine, because you no longer have the Murder of Crows power. So this is your substitute for the Murder of Crows power. Then you've got Excavation, which reduces the cost of siege equipment. The more fortresses you have, the more you can reduce this cost by, up to 60%. That's really, really good. Really consider using that. And the Burning Forges doubles the production of resources of the Citadel. I believe that only counts the Citadel itself, because right now it's making 40. And you're paying 750 for it to make it an extra 40 each tick. That's really strong. That's incredibly strong. And if it affects all of these as well, that's even stronger. I'm fairly certain it doesn't. I'm fairly certain it only affects the Citadel itself. And then finally you've got the Wizard's Tower. Erects a Wizard's Tower which allows Saruman to use all of his abilities while inside the Citadel, regardless of level. So, quick look at Saruman. His powers are exactly the same as they always have been, but are made slightly stronger. Because obviously, original, they can really strike. I can't just show things off, can I? I can't just show things off without AI really.
We shall rule these lands.
Anyway, so with the Wizard's Tower constructed, Saruman can sit atop it. I mean, he can sit atop it anyway, but with the Wizard's Tower constructed, he can use all of his powers no matter what level he is. Obviously, his power seems useless once you have Saruman already at level 10. But you're also wondering, look at all those beautiful upgrades, and now look at what this tower looks like. Isn't it beautiful? And unlike other buildings with their upgrades, these upgrades will persist for as long as this fortress remains intact. It will never lose its potency. And I'll just let Sharku die.
It's them! They're attacking!
Kill them all.
We shall rule these lands.
Kill them with fire.
There's the camp!
Where are my siege equipment? No, 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 no.
Ready to fight! I smell the enemy! Wake up!
I need to put you guys in a separate command group so I don't accidentally group you with the rest.
Shove it!
Something else I'm missing, the battering ram. Where is he? Oh, he's gone now. Rohan just can't give me a second of peace, can they? I'm just showing off fun things. I don't remember where I was. Oh yeah, showing off a beautiful wizard's tower. And then we can summon the Krebine. Which, like I said, acts like the Krebine power. But is no longer a power. It's just attached to the Citadel. And as I said, this never goes away. If the Citadel is destroyed, you can just rebuild it and all these powers remain. So now looking at settlement buildings, you can build the lumber mills, which reduce the cost of buildings up to 30%. That's really strong. Next you've got the mine shafts again, so you can decrease the cost of Urukai even outside of the fortress. And the third one was the Wildman hut, which they destroyed, which I wanted to show off a little bit more. That's where you can create Wolfgar from, that's where you can get your Wildman from as well. So, yeah, pretty good. Pretty nice place.
Keep your wolves under control. Walk is a little tasty.
Now looking at the outposts. So obviously you have your generic outposts where you have free build plots. You can build any buildings, wild sentries, mine shafts, anything and everything. And then you have this outpost, which is the most expensive outpost, costing 3,500. Where even the Minas Morgul and Dol Guldur fortress only cost 2,500. This building takes the cake when it comes to upgrades. Not only does it make has 3 different upgrades, each cost 1,000, but it makes about 180 resources every tick. So what these upgrades do, you might be asking? Hardened armors. Any unit that has heavy armor has more damage reduction. Then hardened weapons. Any unit with forge blades does more damage. And finally, hardened bolts. Any units with the piercing bolts or steel bolts do more damage. It's literally an upgrade upon your upgrades. It's really good. Talk about it, and now we've got to that part. We can show off the somewhat. I can tell you more about the Uruk captains and what they are truly capable of. First things first, you need to get them from the actual armory, which costs 750 to make. Then you have to have whatever Urukai unit, so Urukai crossbowmen, pikemen, or warriors, need to be level 2. So you need to normally have to get the banner upgrade for them. And then the Uruk captain unit replaces the banner bearer, makes the unit level 5. And gives them fear resistance. I'm just going to let that sink in for a few moments while I try to kill off these Rohirrim. Throwing all my powers into it. I'm a little wizard blast, try not to break the game at the same time, but you never know. Oh yeah, Saruman. Let's quick look at him, because I might find the ring sooner or later. His robes are very beautiful because of the power Saruman of many colours. For those that don't know much, or haven't read the books, Saruman's robes at the time that he was found to have betrayed the White Council, his robes were said to gleam in many colours, and that's why he was known as Saruman of many colours instead of just Saruman the White. This is what he wanted people to call, he asked Mithrandir to call him, Saruman of many colours.
The Dark Lord shall reign.
Let's take him for a ride.
Okay. In fact, no, destroy this building. I don't want to make any more siege equipment. Even though I'm just going to make it back immediately.
The enemy!
So yeah, the Steel Forge, not only is it a massive upgrade to your income, but it's also, it just upgrades your upgrades. Hilarious. And then the Auric Captains to make your brand new, you can just get one brand new unit, get some Orokai, already come out very quickly thanks to being at level 3, come out 30% faster. And once they're here, we go off exactly what the Auric Captains, exactly what these upgrades do to this Orokai units. It takes them from bog standard Orokai warriors, which you get from this. Then we get the banner carrier. I'm going to ignore everything that's going on there. I probably should. Very soon they're going to destroy everything.
Ready to run, boys.
Now level 2, we've got a banner carrier. Given the Orokai Captain, as I said, when equipped, this unit is turned to level 3, and this unit gains fear resistance. And the Auric Captain had increased attributes.
Move now!
I don't actually know what those attributes are. I guess it just means it makes the unit stronger. So again, unit upgrades upon unit upgrades is Isengard's bread and butter. Your units are made to be the best of the best, because you were meant to try and overthrow the Dark Lord and the world of men, all on your own. That is not exactly a small feat. That is world domination right there. With these kind of units, you can get it done. Only the elite of the elite dwarves, men, and elves can even stand toe-to-toe to this unit once it reaches full power. I mean, the Auric Captain alone has 2,190 health, and Orokai have 1,000 health each. And to say, like our scout hero, he has 2,000. The general of this unit has almost more health than our level 10 scout hero. Just let that sink in. That is insane. You have more health than a sentry tower. That's ridiculous. I'm only just realising how seriously ridiculous that is. That is really, really strong. Oh, anyway. That's all the upgrades, that's all the... Obviously, they've got forged blades, heavy armour, steel bolts instead of forged blades. They're no different than what they are in BFME 2. They just fine-tune the stats a bit to make a bit more balanced over everyone else. Obviously, that balance goes out the window once we get the upgrades to our 3 different things, which also includes the steel bolts of just them towers. Well, yeah, the steel forge, very good. Should always try and make 1. If not, you can make more, because they are, again, they're just money makers as well as being strong defensive footholds. Now we've looked at units, we've looked at buildings. All we have left now to show off are powers and heroes. So let's have a look at the powers, how we have all of them. First we have Tainted Lands, similar to exactly the same as Mordor. Then we have Visions of the Palantir, which is exactly the same as it is in 1 and 2 and Rise of the Witch King. Use it, view an area, and that remains like that for a good time. Then War Chant, very similar to any of the Horns of the Dwarves, Rallying Call, whatever it's called, the Horn of Gondor, Horn of whatever, Horn of insert faction name. This gives them damage and fear resistance for allied units. And of course has a nice outline as it always has. It's just a beautiful power. Very subtle but very powerful. Next you've got Industry, which is exactly how it is again in BFME 1 and 2, but with the decreased range, because otherwise you could hit more than one building. And that alone would make the power OP. Next you've got Devastation. We all know it, we all love it, but unlike in BFME 2, it no longer stuns units, because they needed to balance it. Being able to just stun an entire army with a power in Edain is really, really stupidly powerful. So next we have Grishnax Axe Boys. So this is our alternative to the summon power, or tier 2 summon power. we summon Grishanak and a few Isengard orcs, which are slightly better than Mordor orcs, but only slightly better. Obviously, we just get them, use them. Grishanak's okay, but not a... Obviously, if you just need quick units that can deal with all things, it's worth doing them. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother.
They will fear us.
So next, the Saruman of many colours. So once Saruman owns his many-coloured robe, he permanently gains more magic damage and resistance against magic, and has his cooldowns reduced. So his Wizard Blast can one-shot almost every unit without heavy armour. The power of speech does even better, although I don't think that's affected by that. Fireball is really strong, and so is his Thunderbolt. But don't get the wording mixed up in thinking that's for everything. That's just for Saruman.
We shall rule these lands.
It doesn't actually say on here that Saruman gets these bonuses. It just says that Saruman is of many places of puppet of Sauron. He directs all of his wrath against the free peoples of Middle-earth. Now at tier 3, we have the good old freezing rain, good old fuel the fires, but we now have the wild archers of Isengard. They're very different to what you'd think of Warg Riders. We instead get Warg Archers. The only other units... This is the only other unit we can't create, other than the Isengard Orcs, which are here, which have the face of Snagger from the towers. So they'll have a position that quickly. He has prepare an ambush, becomes cloaked for 10 seconds, allowing him to ambush his foes. He can scouting by all of Grishanak. 2 of his orcs stay behind to monitor the area. 1 can't interact with orcs, and they don't possess any attack nor armor. May leave up 2 of the 10 orc scouts. 10 orcs as a scout at the same time. Okay, so they're just there as just things that exist. His final ability, Inciting. Grishanak stimulates allied units and heroes and ability for the future mission by what they temporarily double experience but lose some harm. That power alone is very good, but at this late in the game, it doesn't do much because you're always going to have level 5 Urukai. Everyone's going to be level 10. All Grishanak does is just be there to die. That's it. Oh, I forgot to mention, prepare an ambush actually does give him 2 new things. Execute ambush with Poison Blade, or execute the ambush with a Serrated Blade. Serrated Blade does medium damage and slowing the enemy for 10 seconds. You can only use 1 of the 2 blades. Oh, damn it. The Poison Blade does a poison instead of the slow. Obviously, if you want to try and kill them off, you want to use the Serrated Blade so you can catch them up. But if you're close to killing them off, you just want to watch them die slowly, you can use the Poison Blade. They're both decent, but not really important enough to think twice about if you accidentally press one instead of the other. So back to powers. Our tier 10 powers are very different. Before, in BFME 2, we had dragons. Now we have these. Fire of Isengard. Place a cache of mines, which will be detonated after 6 seconds. Does heavy damage to structures in a wide area and decreases their defenses by up to 50% the closer they are to the explosion. So already you can see beautiful design on the model of the thing. But then look at this. That is even... That just looks cool. Get a good look at this. This is the Isengard is unleashed. Unleash the power of Isengard. Summons a mighty army of Isengard. Then not only does it look cool when you make it, look at that. So these are fully upgraded Urukai. Armor, weapons, shield orcs, berserkers with forged blades. This is an army. And this army can kill almost anything that stands in its way, unless he's a fire. Ash. Nice. And although it doesn't do too much damage to buildings, this is not meant to be used like an earthquake ability where when you use it, it does lots of damage. This is an initiating attack against buildings because it increases their defenses. Before it was just you use it and things blew up, which was too easy. It made it a lot harder to actually do the finishing blow the fire of Isengard because of how strong it was, along with Isengard is Unleashed. You used to use Isengard is Unleashed and fire up Isengard in an area, and then everything was starting to blow up. You could bring your entire army in with this second army. Yeah, these guys don't clash with your command points either, so you can still make them even if your command points are full. Unlike the reinforced from Rad and Rune Mordor. Yeah, your tier 10 powers are a lot better than what they used to be, in my opinion. So now all we have left to talk about are the heroes. And I must admit it's pretty easy to talk about these heroes because most of them are exactly the same as they are in BFME 2. Just the two new heroes, Bill Ferny and Wolfgar, to talk about them next. The first one we've got Bill Ferny, our scout hero. He does not level up by the generic means. He levels up by paying him to level up. So you require to pay like 100 for his first ability, pay another 400 for his next ability, and then 600 for his final ability, and he turns from level I think 4 to 6 to 10. His first ability, bribing. Bill Ferny bribes the workers of an enemy resource building, which causes them to spy for him and reveal the nearby area, as well as giving a small amount of resources to Bill Ferny. So you just start off, send Bill Ferny into the enemy base, using his next ability, Disguise. Bill Ferny disguises himself as a chosen unit so he may spy on the enemy. Bill may be revealed through enemy reveal abilities or if he attacks or uses abilities. So you need to keep him on guard mode, disguise him, use bribing, and then run away as quick as possible. But you're more than happy to let him die because the money you're making from the bribing means you can just pay him back again. Next is disinformation. Bill sends an enemy building or hero false information and they lose sight for 30 seconds. Then it's the snitch. The spy of Isengard has his snitches everywhere and therefore he knows many of his foes' secrets. This is a very cool power. For a short amount of time, the closest enemy hero will be revealed. So let's say they've just started, you don't know who you're playing against, and then your opponent's just made their scout hero. Snitch, you now know who they are. And the opponent does not know who you get. That is a very, very informative power in PvP. It is so, so good. Talking about something that's so good, his final ability, Cut Purse. Bill Ferny is a trained thief and pickpocket. For a short time, Bill Ferny deals 35% bonus damage, has 50% armor and 25% movement speed, and steals 40 resources for every hit on a hero or unit. So a way of cheating this ability out is to activate it, let him attack for time that this remains for, let him die, and then bring him back again. And do that again and again and again, and you're actually going to be making money through this system. It's so stupid, but it works. It's stupid, but it works. Because Bill Ferny is very easily returned from the dead. So the next hero to talk about is Wolfgar, our Wildman hero, which does look a bit worse for wears. So Revenge of Rohan, Wolfgar lights his club on fire, as if it wasn't already on fire, but that's what it looks like. It actually adds more fire to the fire. And it does double damage against buildings and additional fire damage against units and Ents. So specifically against Ents. Because you don't have any fire arrows, your fire damage comes from your Wildman. So remember that when you're fighting against Lothlorien, or the power of Rohan. Next is the Wild Plunderers. Wolfgar incites his Wildmen of Dunland to plunder. For 30 seconds, Wolfgar and nearby allied Wildmen of Dunland capture resources from defeated enemies. He gives a scavenger to his Uruk-hai, to his units, the Wildmen. Again, another way to steal resources, which is what the Wildmen are meant for. They are your early game units, which you use to steal your opponent's resources. Sorry, we're supposed to deal with these. Yeah, with Wolfgar, you can, in the early game, you get a lot of Wildmen. You steal resources from your opponent's resources. You constantly harass them so they can't build anything back to respond. Or if they do, they're wasting their time doing so. What are they up to now? Let's just destroy the damn Naga. So annoying.
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Mixing a spearman. And these can actually go above the command point limit, I'm fairly certain. Like we just did here. Of course, by doing so, you're getting a rather crappy unit, which you kind of want to die off. Don't want to see die off in this late in the game, because they're basically wasting 60 command points. We could get another unit of pikemen, or Urukai pikemen. Next, you got Oath of the Men of Dunland. Wolfgar swears an oath to fight for Saruman. Temporary wildmen of Dunland are recruited faster, so just a call the horde ability for wildmen, similar to the ability that Denethor has, that's specific for
What is it?
the Gondor archery range and barracks. And then finally, arm. All men of Dunland on the map will be armed with heavy armors, resulting in more life points and better armor for them. So now you can see, wildmen are slightly better now, but this requires Wolfgar to be level 10, and to be honest, you never want, if he gets to level 10, you kind of want him and all your wildmen to die off. Yes, as a hero, he's really good, but on his own, without his wildmen, he is very limited. His options are very limited. So use him a lot in the early game, he's very strong, but in the late game, consider making either a different hero or new unit, or better units, like a Berserker or two. So next on the list is Wormtongue. Wormtongue is very similar to how he is in BFME 2, just vanilla. Got his escape ability, which is stealth. Venomous words, which increase armor and damage. He's used to also slow. Obviously, that was too powerful, and you already had enough slows. Next is his backstab. We all know it. Very powerful. However, again, talking back to the micromanaging bit, if you need to try and get him to strike in the back. Very certain, while he's escaping, he can actually use his backstab ability. Next is the Influence of Despair. Grima deceives enemy heroes to the target area into believing that they are weak, and they deal no damage and receive no experience for the duration of the deception. And that's a pretty decent range too. Look at that. That range is really, really good. That's on levels of getting to scary levels of how powerful that is. But of course, it is on a rather weak hero that, if left in combat for too long, will die. And then finally, Sabotage. His many years of deception enables Grima to sabotage enemy plans. The citadel and all any surrounding buildings cease to function in any way for 30 seconds. So again, just a way to destroy an enemy fortress. Isengard are well known for being able to destroy an enemy fortress in record time with the fires of Isengard. Isengard is unleashed. Grima's sabotage ability, and then just the Urukai themselves, how quickly they can upgrade and become unstoppable, is hilarious and strong.
We shall rule these lands.
However, of course, this will take a lot of training, experience, whatever you want to call it, and you'll probably find only the AI will fall for these tricks. Players themselves are a lot smarter, and will find ways like using their powers to claim the field back for them.
We go to war. Bury them.
So going to the next hero, we have Shaku. Now he has a lot of fun abilities. He's nowhere near like he was in BFME 2. He is a million times better. His first ability, Blood Hunt. For 45 seconds, surrounding wargs can howl without the ability having to reload after being used. They can give your wargs increased speed with no real detriment. Obviously, I forget to use the ability. It is a very close AoE. It's not often used, in my opinion. Also, I'm fairly certain it's bugged because when you use it, it comes back extremely quickly. That's not 45 seconds at all. I think that may be bugs. I can't actually tell. I know it used to be something else as well. But next, his second ability used to be his level 10 ability, the original BFME 2. Man-Eater. Shaku's wargs devours and selected enemy units. The kill drives it into a frenzy, and Shaku generates 50% of his health and deals 50% more damage for a short time. And the sad thing is, that's exactly what it did when he was at level, in BFME 2 when he reached level 10. Originally, you see a major bonus for Shaku, so is now level 3 instead of level 10 ability. Next, Scent for Blood. The Wolves of Isengard get wind out of the wounds of their enemies. If Shaku, wargs, and warg riders are in battle with a selected hostile battalion, they get twice the experience. Effect on the chosen unit lasts for 30 seconds and may only be used on wounded enemies. So the brand new unit, they're not going to get a sense for blood here. But once they've been wounded a bit, that scent is going to start. Yeah, you can see here they start turning red, and then the Wild Riders get more experience from those red enemies. Then his ability here, Last Words. An enemy is when Sharky's health is 50% or less. The Sharky demoralizes enemy heroes with his last words. Enemy heroes in a great radius have their attack, actions, and spells interrupted and have 50% less armor for 30 seconds. So obviously, the only words that Sharky says in films, he's dead, took a little tumble off the cliff. That's just basically what he's referring to. And then finally, his last ability, which is actually quite volatile, the Untamable. Sharky unleashes a horrifying, disfigured, indomitable warg onto the battlefield. The indomitable warg cannot be controlled by anyone, and it will plunge itself towards any creature it encounters. It's an ally and enemy killer. But more importantly, it's something that keeps enemy units at bay, and it trampled those spearmen into the dust like nothing. This is a way to escape from sudden death with your Warg Riders. And it's a very powerful unit because the Untamable actually reaches almost a hero tier unit in conservative strength. So even the elite Orokai would have trouble dealing with them. So now we look at our two I say scout heroes, but they're not actually the scout heroes. They are scout heroes in their names only, not in their rank. These two are very powerful. So we'll start with Ugluk. His first ability, Dark Medicine. Ugluk gives Dark Medicine with Orokai. Orcs in the target area are healed 50% of their hit points. You know those Orc captains that have... yeah, you just healed an Orc captain for 1000 HP. You've healed Ugluk for a lot. You've healed Lurtz for a lot. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful ability, but has a very long cooldown, so use it sparingly. Next is Hard March. This again works on all Orokai. You can see that nice white aura around them, the white hand on the battlefield around them. That gives them increased speed. May seem like nothing, but against cavalry, where you need to try and chase them down and stop them from running away, it's worth it. Next is Bloodthirstiness. Ugluk feasts on the blood of his enemies. He gains life points equivalent to the damage he inflicts on enemies. Already, Ugluk is shown to be a very sustainable character, able to heal his allies, make them faster, and also heal himself. At level 6, Ugluk is the greatest and most powerful of the Orcs and is known for killing those who he deems to be too weak. The nearby Orcs gain increased armor. Stop looking at the Onar, and kill it for goodness sake. And finally, last ability, Call from the Dungeon. Summons Morher and several elite scouts to the battlefield. Now, these are not permanent. These do not last for long. Actually, no, they last for quite a while, but they are, again, not permanent. So looking at what Morher has, he has Gather Scent. Morher gathers scent of an enemy. For the duration of this ability, Morher and his scouts have more vision range and damage. And now these Ugluk scouts, which each have 2,000 health and have a very powerful attack, which can kill off almost any. Again, emphasis on being able to kill off anything in one shot. In one shot. Even elites will have a difficult time dealing with this.
They're attacking us. Just for the horsemen.
So that is Ugluk, and now let's have a look at Ugluk. So he has his toggle between sword and bow. He has his cripple shot when he is on bow mode. When he's in sword mode, he has his carnage, which is increased damage. Cripple shot, we all know it. We all love it. Pins a hero in place for 15 seconds. Famous and infamous for its power. The Saruman squad leader, all allied in the vicinity of Lurtz deals increased damage, and Lurtz has his shield and has more armor. And finally, his last power, the Hunt. Lurtz makes an enemy unit hero, marks an enemy unit hero, and makes the target of the hunt. As long as the hunted unit hero is alive, it moves slower and reveals everything it sees to Lurtz. Lurtz, Morher, Ugluk, and scouts have 30% faster when they are far away from the target. It's just incentivizing the Aurochs to move further as the hero tries to escape. Best used on weak scout heroes or very powerful elite heroes that you're never going to have to encounter. The Lurtz is your hero killer, along with Wormtongue. Although Wormtongue is more of a disabler than a killer. Backstab's just there because it works really well with his character. So finally, we have our ring hero, before he becomes the ring hero, Saruman. As I've said already, his powers are no different to what they are normally. He's got his Wizard Blast, he's got his Power of Speech, which is a lot brighter, so for those that have very bright screens in a very dark night, that could have just blinded you. Sorry. Next he has his Fireball, which is at level 5, because it's made a lot stronger. Then level 7 he's got Wormtongue, which we all know it. And then his Thunderbolt, which is slightly stronger in the fact that it paralyzes enemy units that are struck by it. Although I'm fairly certain that's just what it says, it's not actually what it does.
Go forward!
But I mean, that's what's said on the thing, and I don't think that's what it actually does. Let's find out. Also, it's got a very good range. Remember that. It's very good range. It does not paralyze, it just knocks them back, and if not in the direct AoE, they do no damage. So yeah, Saruman is probably the weakest in his starting form of all the ring heroes.
They will fear us.
But only because his level 10 power is... Oh, it's terrible. It really is. It's meant to be used as an AoE in units that aren't moving, but to be honest, people are going to notice it. People are going to try and stop it. And let's have a quick look at what 5 Isengard does to units, so you can understand why it is mainly building focused. Oh, I was wrong. That does really good damage against units too. So if you need AoE against a very powerful army, there's your thing. Now I know there's a golem around here somewhere. Saw him while I was setting up everything. That he was around here somewhere. Now Saruman has 2 forms. However, the form you get, you don't get to choose. Let's have a look here. Only ring heroes can pick up the one ring. Saruman will become either Saruman the Blessed or Saruman the Cursed. I'm not guaranteed to be able to show off both. I'm going to be honest though. Both are just as good as each other. Although I do prefer the Cursed. No, I prefer the Blessed to the Cursed. Because basically Saruman's attack, instead of being a AoE knockback melee attack, it becomes an AoE knockback ranged attack. And whether he's the Cursed or the Blessed, his attack is either a Fireball, if he's the Cursed, and if the Blessed, it's a Lightning Bolt.
We're under attack!
So already extremely cool concepts for what Saruman is when he reaches the ring hero state. But he becomes a lot better than that. I can actually read a bit from the excerpt here. As Saruman the Blessed, he will become lordly, alike to the power of the Valar, and gain powers of lightning and air magic, as well as support skills. As Saruman the Cursed, he will become twisted and dark and gain powerful fire magic and structural support skills. So it's either to support your industry and your structures, or support your units and your and become more lordly. Although to do so, we need to find Gollum. Although we do have a lot of ways to find him, it's still not easy. Last time I checked, he was in this area, although he doesn't know how to move around. Also, the Crabine come back very quickly. So you can almost always be using the Crabine just to scout out places. And I like to joke about the Crabine of Dunlin, or called the Crabine from Dublin. I think I've already said that joke before in the Isengard overview of Age of the Ring, but just saying it now in case you didn't. Crabine from Dublin.
Stay alert! Let's take him for a run!
They will fear us.
Who's looking for trouble?
I claim the entire map that I lost to these Rohirrim scum.
Get ready to fight! Kill them all! Cut his arms off! Dad! I'm getting hungry.
Prepare for war.
The enemies! Work him over!
I'll find you. Hold on, so don't No. Don't delay the inevitable. Accept your fate. Join me.
That one's finished.
This one's to be difficult.
There they are.
Very well.
Getting hungry.
They will fear us.
Where haven't I checked yet? Problem is though, Gollum is known to actually roam around. He's not going to stay in one place forever. He actually roams around the entire map.
Ready to run, boys.
Although he does prefer to stay in several places more than
This
others.
place belongs to the enemy.
It's all a gamble of where he could be.
Another building all finished.
I probably should have been looking for the ring while I was talking about everyone. He might be up here actually.
We shall rule
Think
these
about it,
lands.
since I haven't been up there for a while. He'll be up there. Use freezing rain. Use devastation. More trees we can cut. Oh yeah, devastation. Does actually give a lot of resources compared to what it used to in the past.
They will fear us.
If you get a good amount of trees, it's not likely to give you as much as if you just claim like 1 or 2 trees. The more trees you get, the more money you make. Money is always randomized. To like a certain degree, I believe, but it will always end as the more more of something. Definitely the more of something. The more trees you can cut down, the better your resource collection will be. So try to focus down a lot of different tree areas. Obviously, if you don't want to in areas where you've got lumber mills, because then the lumber mills will start running out of resources to collect.
Ready to run, boys.
But that's again, that depends on your preferences. Let's make another steel worker.
The walk is a little tasty.
Yeah, as I said, it costs 3,500, but there it costs 2,400 because of the cost reduction from the lumber mills. So yeah, if you want to steel workers, I recommend building the lumber mills first, because then you can find it, and then you can just fund it better. Because again, in the early game, paying that much money is not a good thing at all. It's having to do it is having to pay for that much is a very big detriment to your army, because you could be getting a hero like Saruman, you could be getting
That one's finished.
bonuses to your other industry units or buildings. Obviously, the steel worker is just technically it's insult to injury in a way. In fact, this makes so much resources. It's only a last resort building in a way.
Is ready for master. Ready to run, boys. Let's go.
It does make it sound bad, but it is a lot better than what I'm giving it out to be. I just have to try and find it.
The enemy.
I mean Gollum.
They're attacking already.
When we do, oh, you better believe I'm going for it. I'm even going to go for it with full fury. Might have sent Isengard Unleashed upon it, actually. I'm actually that desperate now to find Gollum. Where is he? The only place I'm going to check now is the very corner here.
The Dark Lord shall reign.
I don't have to end this without showing off either forms of Saruman. I don't think I can show. It'll be a while before I can show off both. Come on.
The tide of darkness rises.
Running weapons.
We shall rule these lands.
Where?
Prepare for war. We shall rule these lands.
The enemy.
No, I wasn't joking. I wasn't joking. I will send everything into it so I can kill Gollum.
They will fear us.
How is he still alive? Kill him.
This way. The tide of darkness rises.
Everything else move away. It's Saruman's time.
Ready to march within 2 weeks.
Step aside. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
who fear to go into
Yeah,
those
oh yeah,
mines.
I forgot, that's actually a thing. You can click on the ring and see how long it has before it disappears. Returns to the hands of Gollum.
The world is changing.
So, here we go. Which Saruman will we get?
We have it. We have
We got
the
the
ring.
Blessed. Oh, beautiful. Dignified presence. Saruman uses the One Ring to increase his power by changing his appearance to resemble the might and dignity of the Valar. His attacks is now a powerful ranged lightning bolt, and he and all nearby allies gain double damage, double armor, double
I
experience.
think I smell the enemy.
Oh my god!
We
I
shall
forgot how
rule these
strong the
lands.
Blessed was.
Smoke rises.
Next, he's got his power of grace. Saruman uses the One Ring to enhance his power. The selected allied troops gain 40% armor for a short time. Short time or not, that's still really, really good. Compared to what it was, where it's experience boost, you no longer need. Now it's your elites just become even more unbeatable. Then you have Burning Sky. The Blessed One turns the heavens to flame. Units in the target area are burnt. I'm telling you now, it is beautiful. Doesn't have a long range, but if you can get a lot of units clumped up together in front of Saruman,
Attacking us.
yeah, you're going to see something beautiful.
You are sure of this? The
So
forest
then you have Cunning Word. The White Wizard blinds his foes with whispering insinuation. Units in the target area will be permanently under its control. So that's stronger than Sauron's takeover ability, although it does have a smaller radius. And then Thunderstorm. Yeah, you can imagine a range something this big has to be very, very important. We'll show it all off very soon. But I will warn you now, the game could very easily break this. So as you can see, Saruman has the One Ring on his hand, and he has lightning channeling through his body. I'll probably keep that mine away from everyone else, if I don't want Saruman to die.
speak.
Yep, this is the Burning Earth.
Lie down
Doesn't hurt
before us.
ally units, that is certain, although that definitely felt like it hurt my eyes. So then finally, Thunderstorm. Again, rather short range. Even though Saruman's now got a ranged attack, he is still got short range. But now, watch what happens. This is best used against armies, but look at that. It hits everything with a lightning bolt every few seconds. I'm warning you, it is scary. You leave it. If you have an army, prepare to lose it. That's all I'm going to say with Saruman the Blessed. Saruman the Cursed, it's a little quicker, and it's just a lot of the fireballs. Yep, that's Saruman's new attack. A very powerful ranged attack. And now let's use the power of grace. Boric medicine. And carnage. No Citadel left, so I can't stop them from building things. Oh well. But yep, that is Isengard in a nutshell. Obviously, there's the other form of Saruman. But another thing to note is, on the Shire map, it is a third form to Saruman. It's meant to be a fun thing, but it looks so stupid. Yep, that was Isengard, all of it. Probably the best late game army or faction. Rivendell coming close second. But again, I believe Isengard is a lot easier to play than Rivendell. Once you get Enlargers played well, oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Saruman the White is coming to kill you all. I made that joke and I did it in a monotone voice. That was so bad. I hope you all enjoyed. And another thing to note, you'll note that this is coming out on a Sunday because I'm decided to make it so each of these videos is coming out one a day. Because these videos are taking a lot of energy out of me. So for the last two overviews for Angmar and Arnor, they will be taking up the Monday and Tuesday slots. And But again, that only will happen if I have enough time to do the rest of them, because I now have a job. I am now officially a working man. So my videos will be cut down from probably 1 a day to maybe 3 a week, 4 a week. Once I get more into my schedule, it'll become a lot easier for me to do these recordings. But don't be surprised if you start seeing less uploads from me. Obviously, I'm going to keep trying my best. I want this channel to succeed. I want it to go well. I want you guys to enjoy these videos. If you do, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to press the bell so you know future uploads. And the next faction is Angmar. Technically the last faction, and we're doing it on one of the Arnor maps. And for those that don't already know what will happen when you've gone one of the Arnor maps against Gondor, I'm going to tell you now because it does make sense. Gondor becomes Arnor. That's what happens. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all next time, and farewell.